Resident Evil series has terrified and captivated gamers. With a complex narrative woven throughout the many games of the series, a whole circus of horrifying creatures, and a less than true to source material Hollywood movie series, Resident Evil has solidified its place in pop culture as the gold standard of zombie video games. Funko acknowledged this impactful series with a line of figures capturing some of the most iconic characters and creatures, but with the 25th anniversary and the release of the 8th main installment, Resident Evil Village, coming later this year, I think it's time to give a few more iconic characters the pop treatment. Here are my personal top 5. Being the half-rotten face that launched this series into popularity, I'm surprised we didn't get just a standard zombie. Perhaps a Funko figure couldn't quite get away with making it look as horrifying as what they deserve, but I'd definitely like to see them do this, especially given how far they've pushed some of the other pops they've made. To the same effect, I'd also love to see the more powerful Crimson Head. If you've not played the games, a standard zombie can come back to life shortly after you've killed it as a faster, more powerful, blood red variant. You stop this by burning the body. Either of these would make a great pop, or a very logical figure with a chase. For a lot of people who got into gaming a little bit older, Resident Evil 4 was our first introduction to this series. Arguably the most iconic character from the game, even more so arguably than Leon, the game's protagonist, is the mysterious cloaked merchant.
Got something that might interest you.
This is another character which would look great in pop form. It's just a really cool figure. I can honestly just see him stood there with his coat open, with all the ammo and weapons in his coat. And it's another one that would really make sense to have a chase, as a certain point in the game, his eyes change colour, implying that he is actually himself infected with the virus or the affliction in that game. So that would make a really cool chase figure to have the different coloured eyes. Nonetheless, I would really like to see this one, and this is one of the ones that I really think would look great in a Resident Evil collection, or even just in a gaming merchandise collection generally, because this character is just that iconic. On the subject of icons from Resident Evil 4, this terrifying bro. The European cover of the game is eerie and leaves a whole lot to the imagination. The sole figure on the front, a guy whose face you can't make out, with a chainsaw. Dr. Salvador, also known as the Chainsaw Ganado, also known as shit, 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 run, 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 is still one of the scariest parts of the game. You hear the revving of that machine and you know he's close, and with a particularly brutal one-hit kill move, he inspires genuine terror. There's a similar enemy in Resident Evil 5, basically the same character, but it doesn't quite inspire the same level of terror as the Good Doctor did. Again, same with the Merchant, this character would look amazing in pop form. I think there was a line of figures and this was one of the characters they chose. I think they don't really want to focus too hard on Resident Evil 4 because for a lot of fans of the older games, 4, 5 and 6 are very divisive, and a lot of people really didn't enjoy that more action orientated element of the game. But the Chainsaw Ganado, Dr. Salvador, maintains that horror feel because the death scene, if he catches you, is so brutal. And I remember the first time I played this game, I must have been about 12 or 13, and it was genuinely terrifying. So it would be a really cool figure to have in pop form. Again, same with the Merchant, I can just see him with this chainsaw raised above his head. It would just look really cool. Honestly, the only reason I can think of as to why they didn't make Chris alongside Jill in the 20th anniversary wave is that they wanted to have more of a variety from the series' rich history. That and Chris has had more face changes than all of Beverly Hills put together. Where Resident Evil 4 introduced us latecomers to Leon S. Kennedy, Resident Evil 5 gave us our first glimpse at the boulder-punching man-mountain that is all-American action hero Chris Redfield. But he's been there since the start. He also played a role in the latest installment, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and seems to have a large part to play in the mystery of Resident Evil Village. But really, even between 7 and 8 he looks completely different. Funko's best bet is just do a video game moment and have him punching a boulder in a volcano. If you've not played Resident Evil 5, you might be wondering how a game about zombies ends with a bodybuilder boxing with a rock surrounded by lava. Actually, even as someone who has played it, 5 and 6 went a little wild. 7 really brought us back on track with the series returning to the game's survival horror roots, and obviously bringing back the classic Chris Redfield character with a little bit less bodybuilding having happened. But I really think Chris Redfield is a character that should be captured in Funko form if we do get another wave. He's every bit as iconic as Jill, and he's just a real fan favourite character. Some people were put off by the boulder punching, this is true, but I feel like with his role in 7 and the role he's going to get in 8, we're really bringing back that sort of action hero in a survival horror setting that is Mr. Boulder Punching Chris Redfield. Before we get to the final entry on this list, I just wanted to give an honourable mention. So moving away from the action-y 4, 5 and 6, this is a character that appears in the first Resident Evil game, and this character's story is as gut-wrenching as this character is difficult to look at, and that is Lisa Trevor. I won't go too much into detail because honestly her story from start to finish is awful, and I'd have to give a content warning to the whole video. If you really want to see what she looks like, Google her, but let this be your warning, it's pretty hardcore. I'm not sure I'd even dare Funko to do this one, but it really would be interesting to see what they did with this character. Google at your own risk. This is the character that I'm super surprised wasn't already done. Mr. Too Cool for School himself, Albert Wesker. A central part of the series' story and exceptionally snappy dresser, Albert Wesker is the one character, like I say, I'm really surprised they didn't already do. I could have seen him as a Funko Shop exclusive or something. For those unfamiliar, and spoiler warning for a 25-year-old game I guess, this guy is the Judas from the original game. Though his role in that first game is more or less being a device to get you from point A to point B and fight X, Y and Z creature, his role in the overall story is much more significant. A video of the full Resident Evil story would take way too long, but sufficient to say a lot of the events, including literally the whole plot of 4 and 5, happen because of Wesker, or because of the pies Wesker has his finger in. Putting aside what I'd like to see in a 25th anniversary series, I think this is probably the most likely. Like I say, a limited edition Funko store, a Hot Topic exclusive of him in his iconic black jacket, or one of his many different forms throughout the series. He's the villain you can't help but love, even if his dialogue in 5 is a little cheesy.
Every day, humans come one step closer to self-destruction. I'm not destroying the world, I'm saving it.
There are a whole host of other characters Funko could do, at least 5 different characters from the new Village trailer alone. But that's for another video. Let me know what you think of my choices, and what other Resident Evil or other video game characters you'd like to see as pops. So thank you so much for watching guys, please thumbs up and subscribe if you're enjoying this kind of video. Thanks a lot guys, stay safe, stay positive. We're going to get through this crazy time, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.